Oh no! Hey, this is Andrew Lim inviting you to go out on a limb. Bon dia from Lisbon, Portugal. Yes, it's a pretty cloudy day today, but it's not raining, which is what I'm happy with. So you can tell from my voice that I just woke up because, yeah, I know. I had a pretty exhausting day yesterday having this food tour, but it was actually really fun. Anyways, today we're gonna do a city tour. Yes, I've been here a few times and I've done some city tours, but I'm gonna take a new angle today, and we're gonna do what we call this city tour. An introduction of the city with focus on the Carnation movement. For those of you who are not familiar with the Carnation movement, this is really the anniversary of the government of the people of Lisbon, I think Portuguese in general, overthrowing a dictatorship back in 1974. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna do a tour focusing on the Carnation movement and see what we can learn today. So yeah, put on your history cap, or be a history student, and just be a bit studious today. So come go and live with me, and we will discover what Lisbon is all about, especially relating to the Carnation movement. Folks, before we start, kindly hit the subscribe button and the notify button for new contents that I upload weekly. Obrigado.
Welcome, or in good Portuguese, do you know to welcome in Portuguese?
Welcome. Hola.
We started our tour with some flat surface walking, which is good because there's actually a lot of uphill walking here in Lisbon. We admire a few architecture in the city and talk about why they were built the way they were built. And then we stop for a much needed Pastel de Nata break. Yes, always looking for reasons to eat. And this traditional Portuguese egg tart was highly recommended by our guide.
So guys, what's the verdict? They're good? Better than the first ones you had? They're different recipes, it's about taste.
It's actually good. It's not too sweet. I like it.
Now, guys, just to give you something historical, some people ask me if this is something we created for tourists. No, we have been eating this kind of stuff since the 16th century.
We then walked down on Ria Augusta, which is a pedestrian-only street filled with my favorite Portuguese pavement. That is undeniably the most touristy street here in the city, filled with shops and restaurants. You also find this popular cast iron elevator along the walk on the street, which our tour guide had an opinion. He had an opinion on everything. So here's what he has to say.
Also, a tourist trap. And why the hell is that? Because guys, can you see the line that is forming on the left? Okay. Sometimes during the day the line is so big that it climbs all the stairs, goes even to the street on the back. So now imagine this, you guys are on vacation, right? Imagine you guys on your vacation time spending 1-2 hours on that freaking line, then having to pay €6 each for then having a 10-15 second ride that will drop you guys at that viewpoint.
The good thing about Lisbon is there is free drinking water throughout the city, so just bring your own bottle. We then were treated to the sights of the largest and most controversial Zara, the clothing retailer, here in Lisbon, as it took over small mom and pop shops with historical significance to the city to build it. So naturally, our guide, which is a local, was not very pleased with it.
All the shops that it is right here.
But this one survived.
This one was brought again.
Oh wow.
Maybe they made a deal or something like that.
Yeah.
But,
so they survive in the midst of this Zara jungle.
Yeah, it survived.
Wow.
Because it was one of the oldest shops. It's from 1923.
Yeah.
So maybe it was because of that.
Apparently, this is the only Zara that sells traditional pastel de nata, with Zara collaborating with Atelier Castro, which is a well-known pastry shop here in Lisbon. The Church of St. Dominic was built in the 13th century. It has survived 2 earthquakes, one in 1531 and a more devastating one in 1755, and a fire in the afterwards. So pretty much a cursed establishment, if you ask me. In fact, according to my guide, visiting this church would bring misfortune to visitors, so naturally the superstitious me refused to get in. Instead, I let my dear friend Jess film it for me. What a great friend I am. Interestingly, the Church of St. Dominic does not have a Jesus statue. In fact, it was once the site of a massacre of Jewish people. In 1506, the church and the church square were the scenes of the Lisbon massacre, where thousands of new Christians that were previously converted Jews, there's another story to that, were actually murdered by the Christian mob. This all started when one of the new Christians explained what the old Christians or the traditional Christians thought was a sign from Jesus from a scientific point of view. Yes, this was during the Black time, and they were really desperate to have a solution or a sign from God that all will be ending soon. And they actually thought what happened in the church was a sign, but the new Christian or this Jewish individual actually pointed out, because he was a scientist, pointed out that it was just an occurrence of science. So naturally, he was actually killed, sadly, and the rest, the massacre followed. So it's really sad. It's a sad account provided by our tour guide. But after that, I think those new Christians that committed those massacres were all killed and prosecuted. So fun facts learned from our dear tour guide on this walking tour. The famous James Bond character was inspired by a real-life spy who was based in London. His name was Duško Papo, a Serbian spy who operated in Lisbon during World War II. We then walk up to where the important Carnation movement had taken place. Lots of walking uphill, I have to say, so bring a pair of comfortable walking shoes when you're here in Lisbon. So the Carnation Revolution was a peaceful military coup that took place in Portugal on April 25, 1974. It ended the dictatorship of the Estado Novo regime led by Marcelo Caetano, and actually left the country in the hands of the military who pledged to restore civil liberties after almost 50 years of dictatorial rule of the country. So last year, Portugal celebrated its 50th anniversary of this revolution. The revolution got its name from a restaurant worker named Celeste Cairo, who offered carnations to soldiers by placing them in the barrels of their gun as a symbol of peaceful resistance. So at the age of 91, Celeste was able to attend the 50th anniversary of Carnation Revolution last year, and she actually passed away a few months later. So the story reminds us that resistance does not always have to be loud or violent. Sometimes it's about standing firm in our values or finding ways, big or small, to push for a better future. After the tour, as if we did not have enough walks, we actually put more steps in by visiting Alfama, one of the oldest neighborhoods here in Lisbon, with shops selling traditional crafts and cafes. Now, lots of uphill walking here for sure, but you get to enjoy city views like this, so it's definitely worth it.